Encoded in these stones are the secrets behind the genius known as God's architect.
To build the forms that Gaudi had imagined over a century ago continues to push today's technology to the limit.
Unlocking Gaudi's secrets, next Sunday on ABC2.
This all started when the four of us were doing masters at Melbourne University, and we were pretty young, arrogant, full of high aspirations, and we kind of thought all our peers were beneath us.
Did some good work at uni. Spent all time there. Despised the clans that did as well.
We had some pretty conflicting personalities, like Tim Clark. He was this pretentious rich boy Scotch college kid from Toorak who'd failed in his accounting profession, and he was forced to do architecture actually because his parents cut him off.
Peter, you're not listening. Peter, it's above ground car parking. Have you seen this? Goodness me, I don't know what we're gonna... Chris likes to think he's calling all the shots around the office. He came out of a failed career as an army officer where he was court-martialed for insubordination. He began studying architecture in Tasmania and transferred to Melbourne Uni to try and make it in the big league.
So Tass, right? He was a wicked great soccer player back at uni. I mean, he was unstoppable. Then, blew out his knee, and due to injury, he had to hang up his boots for the yellow trace in the scale ruler. Still get the feeling he doesn't want to be here, though.
What? I issued you those drawings last week. Peter! Pierce had grown up with architects as parents, and it was natural for him to develop an unhealthy fetish for architecture. He initially studied at Deakin. He went off the rails in his university days, into a downward spiral of binge drinking and partying. But somehow that kid managed to scrape through with his natural ability to sketch and watercolour.
We first worked together during our final year of architecture in urban design theory and architectural practice, and ever since then we've kept in touch.
After graduation, we all continued to work in our respective firms, and some of us even got registered. We'd always talked about starting our own business, but it wasn't until 2012, I think, where we stopped talking about it and actually did something.
We were bored to death of our current jobs, and we were sick of the Melbourne weather. We decided to all relocate to Perth and start our own practice.
When we heard about the predicted population growth and the housing crisis in Perth, we saw a really promising opportunity to start a business focused on providing high-density, affordable housing.
All indicators showed that the economy in Western Australia was booming and that there was a much greater chance of being successful in business there than in any other Australian city. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, Perth was Australia's fastest growing LGA, local government area, an annual growth rate of 12.8%.
We were concerned with the urban sprawl in most cities around the country, and interested in how we could find alternatives to building more housing on the periphery.
Back in 2012, we realised the young folk like us couldn't afford their own homes. We thought, as young folk ourselves, we should probably do something about that.
Modular housing has been done before, so we needed to find something with a unique angle, something that's simple yet stylish and cool, like the iPhone 9 for instance. We wanted to really be focused on modular design as a product rather than just a building.
So predominantly our business strategy was to focus on affordable housing with modular or prefabricated solutions. They were usually fast, cost-effective and with modern stylish designs, and they really appealed particularly to the younger generations.
We engaged with local universities and other educational institutions to research and test our designs. We then pitched our research to local government planning and sustainability organisations and in an attempt to secure the work.
We sought out large-scale developers to present our modular design systems that were faster and cheaper than conventional building techniques.
After about a year of employing our strategy, we secured a small amount of work, but we failed to reach our target market. We had some credibility in architectural circles, but the general population had no idea who we were. I mean, nobody gave a shit about us. We had to find some other way to get ourselves out there.
We had a great product, but initially we had trouble getting clients to pick up the idea.
We couldn't really afford to work out a proper office, so we came up with this idea of like a mobile office that moved around and worked in different public locations and establishments throughout the city, partly why we adopted the name Drift. We all had completely wireless devices like MacBooks and iPhones that could be transported around on a bike.
Moving around the city, people would often come up to us and talk to us about the work we had on display. We made good connections not only with the general public but also with bars and cafes and shops that often let us work in their shop windows. We became quite well known in Perth as those architect guys.
It occurred to us that maybe we should try promoting ourselves rather than business. We started making a point of participating in the Perth nightlife, doing whatever we could to make connections with the local celebrities.
As we became known around Perth, I started looking into promoting ourselves on television. We figured that there were plenty of reality TV shows out there about Bondi vets, master chefs, doctors, interior designers. I mean, why couldn't there be a show about architects? At the time, there were no celebrity architects in Australia at all.
It started off small, with appearances on variety shows and the current affairs, and eventually we made a successful pitch for a pilot show on the local network.
That was pretty easy. They just filmed us while we worked and designed for our clients from our mobile office, with all the drama that went along with it. Because our designs were so quick to construct, we had several finished designs by the end of the season.
So the publicity of the show gave us an overload of clients wanting one of our designs. It wasn't long before the show was picked up by a major network and we went nationwide.
Well, it got to the point where when people thought of architecture, they thought of the four of us, and we kind of got swept up into fame. I mean, we somehow got this bad boy persona, and everyone thought architecture was so hot right now. Architects, and we surpassed architects, so I guess the appropriate term would be rockstar architect.
You arrive in the rising sun.